there, welcome back to my channel. Today's Get Ready With Me, or tutorial, is going to be featuring the By Terry Sun Designer palette. So I did one featuring the Tom Ford Contouring Compact, and I wanted to show everyone the difference using this one if you purchase it, or I believe it's still available, so if you're thinking about purchasing it. And also, I've been doing a look recently that I've been loving. I'm like the one swipe eyeshadow queen, as we all know. And I've been doing a multiple eyeshadow look recently, so I figured I'd show you that on in one of my tutorials. And I'm using the Urban Decay Naked Basics. Is that what it is? Naked Basics. And with a little bit of liquid liner. So just let that sink in for a second. I'll be using liquid liner. I'm scared a little bit to use it on camera because my hand is, I'm not going to do the flick or the, cat eye or anything. It's just going to be very, very basic, just to thicken up my lashes, but I've liked the look, so I figured I'd do it on camera and see how it goes. Alright, so first starting off with this foundation, which I reviewed recently. It's the Dior Forever, the Perfect Makeup Everlasting Wear Pore Refining Effect with Sunscreen. Did you get that? One more time? No, I'm just kidding, I'm not going to say it one more time. This is the bottle. This is the new one that just released. I mean, I had the Dior forever ago. So I'm thinking it's just a little bit different. But that being said, I love it. It's amazing. It is such a good foundation I have it in the lightest shade 010. It is such a good foundation for long wearing, like you need your makeup to last all day long. It dries down to a nice kind of velvety matte finish. And I love this. This has become a really, this is inching its way up there onto my favorites foundation list. I love the original Dior Forever. My only complaint always with them, the Dior Forever foundation, and Dior in general, is their shade range. Like, this is definitely not as pale as I would like it to be. I would love it to be like a hint darker, so that, if I want to wear a bronzer, or, if it oxidizes slightly, which it doesn't oxidize too much, but if it does, even in the slightest, you won't really see it. But this gives really significant coverage, and it is it's going to sound kind of, well, I don't want to look like I'm wearing makeup. It's very makeup-y looking. So it gives like this very velvety, smooth, kind of creamy look to the skin. Not cakey by any means. It is so not cakey, but it gives like a real creamy, smooth foundation. Like, you would almost think that it's a cream-based foundation. But it has like that kind of makeup-y look. But beautiful, like a beautiful makeup-y look, but it's not like a sheer tinted moisturizer that kind of lets your skin show through. It's definitely not too heavy, but that's just my opinion, but I absolutely adore it. I think it's gorgeous, and I have in the shades, again, 010. Okay, so that's pretty much how it looks, on the skin. It really gives like a nice finish. There's a little bit of shine, but it'll kind of settle down. I do have a powder here just to kind of dust through my T-zone, but I don't even need a powder. And if it's really, really hot, yes, but I don't really necessarily need one. Oops, I took out too much. This is the Charlotte Tilbury, the Air Flash, is that what it's called? The Retoucher, like Air Flash. Where did I get that from? The Retoucher in the shade number 1. Love this one as well. This is supposed to be like the Touche Eclat, even though I think it's 10 times better than the YSL Touche Eclat. Because the YSL Touche Eclat is not a concealer, it's a highlighter. And I should know that because I worked for them for 7 years. So I really should know my stuff when it comes to them. And that's, like I said, it's a highlighter, not a concealer, whereas this is definitely a concealer. It can even be used as like a little makeshift foundation if you want to. It's a beautiful concealer. It's definitely not too light, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. Okay, moving on. Let's do some powder. The Bobbi Brown. I've been using this Nude Finish Illuminating Powder. I have it in the shade Porcelain. Really enjoy this. I think it's absolutely beautiful. It is not quite like the pastel one that she made, that kind of like illuminating, brightening powder. She made that that I've been using for years, and I still use it. But I mean, I've definitely been getting into a habit of kind of using this just to kind of like set my makeup a little bit. It does kind of help to like bring everything together. It's not a very heavy powder. It has a slight bit of illumination, not too much. And I just like the kind of finish of it. All right, let's get on to eyes. I have a brush hair. Don't you hate that when you're like doing your makeup and you can't find the brush hair? I've got hair up on my face, like fresh hairs, whole 9 yards. Oh, where did that go? Oh, a little bit of eyeshadow primer just came in. I'm like, don't get on my dress. Ooh. Okay, I think we're all good. All right, primer potion from Urban Decay. Can't live without it. Love it, love it. I go between this and the NARS one. The NARS smudge proof, that base that they make. I kind of just like, you know, one of these though lasts me for like a year. Using every single day. So it takes me a while before I like switch to the next one. But those are the two that I recommend using the most. All right, for brows, my trusty Hourglass brow tool. Been using this for a long time. I know that I've recently used the Makeup Forever in tutorials, but I really, really also enjoy the Hourglass one. I love the color as well. This is, I believe, soft brunette. It's a nice, I think this is one of the first kind of brow tools that are shaped like this. It had that kind of angled edge. This is the first one that I ever tried. And I fell in love with it because the color is almost my perfect brow shade. It's a little gray and it's not too dark and it's just perfect. Okay, brows are done. I actually just got my brows done a few days ago. And I always love like filling in my brows right after you get them done. Don't you like love that? Because they're like always so perfect and they're just, I love it. And then when my hair starts to grow in, that's when I hate doing my brows. Ooh. All right, so we're going for the Urban Decay Naked Basics palette. I love it because it's really basic and it's all matte shades, which I'm sure you're familiar with. There's like the Basics 2 or something like that. This is just the regular old Basics 1. And I like it to create just kind of like a subtle matte eye with some contour. That's how I use it. So I'm probably going to mix the yellow and the peach shade, like the second and third color here. Want these two. And I'm just going to kind of go between the two. But they really, like, they're very, very opaque. So when I put them on, it is very, very opaque, which I like. It really gives like a pretty significant stark contrast even to my skin, which I like. I kind of like that really light lid look, and especially when I'm doing a crease color. And I'm just taking the color and I'm pressing it onto the lid. It doesn't take a lot to build this up, to be honest. There's a lot of fallout with this. So just know that, like when you dip your brush in, I don't have too much on underneath the eye. Nah, not too much. But like when you dip your brush in the palette, holy cow, so much fallout. But I still love this palette, so, you know, I'll deal with it. Who cares? Okay, so I'm using, this is pretty much the yellow one that I've used. Let me see if you can, I'm sure you can see it. And I'm just going to put a little bit of the peach on top. I don't know, just to give it a little bit of, so it's not so yellow. But I still really love it. Oh my gosh, Elmo is snoring right next to me in the bed right next to me. He is such a bum. He has the best life. Don't all of our dogs have the best life, let's be honest. They're living their best life. Okay, then, that's probably like so unsanitary, but it's only for me, so I remember I had to learn not to do that when I used to work behind the counter because it's such a habit, like with my own makeup, and I really had to in my early days, I made like a few mistakes here and there, and my artists that I worked with were like, Marie, you cannot do that. And I quickly learned, and I made that, I never made that mistake again. Because it's worse, it's awful when you're like at a counter and the makeup artist like blows on the thing and then puts her brush into your eye. No. Okay, so for the crease, I'm going to use this kind of subtle taupe color, the fourth one, and maybe a little bit of the darker brown. Not the end black color, but just a little bit of that taupey brown. And I'm just literally going to windshield wiper it into the crease. This is going to be a very, very, very kind of polished but simple look. Once I add the liquid liner, I don't do a thick liquid liner like a lot of girls do. I love that look, but it just doesn't work for me. I like a really, really thin liquid liner. So it just makes my lashes look longer. That's really why I do it. And like I said, I'm just kind of a little bit into the crease. I added a little bit of that darker brown. And I'm literally kind of like, it's a windshield wiper and then I'm buffing. You see that? Windshield wiper and then I buff. I know it's kind of like I'm giving a weird face to the camera, sorry. But I really want you to kind of be able to see that technique. So again, windshield wiper. I don't like to take it, even though I feel like I'm taking it too far, I don't like to take it all the way into the inner corner of my eye because I don't want to keep that dark, And then you're just kind of buffing it while moving it down the lid. So it's like windshield wiper to get it in there, and then I kind of buff just because you want the lines of the edge of the makeup to be like buffed out completely. Like you don't want like a harsh line. And then I just take the same brush and I just kind of buff out the edges. I'm really kind of pushing the brush and swiping it. It's a kind of odd, but I'm using the kind of the side of the brush here and just kind of trying to buff out that edge. And then I can always go back in and add a little bit more. I mean, I could take a little bit more of that lid color and just pop it on to really add a little bit of more of a contrast. Okay, so let's get to the liquid liner part. Let's just get that over with. Okay, I'm kind of really quiet when I do this, so I'm probably not going to be talking through it. But I'm using the Stila Stay All Day Waterproof Liquid Eyeliner, which I find really nice because the pen is so thin. So here we go. And I'm just going to kind of, I don't try to go into the very inner corner of my eye, but sometimes it just moves in there because of the way I move my brush. So we'll see how this goes. And I kind of try to lie it flat along my lash line and then just make short dragging marks. Okay, only one little mess up like right here, but once you put on the mascara, it's really not going to matter. One side's a little bit thicker than the other, but that's kind of how it goes with these. But I would highly recommend the Stila. If you want to try a liquid liner, you can flick it out or not, whatever you want to do. But I would highly recommend trying this one because it is really easy to use. It's a very stiff point, but it's very, very fine, and I find that I'm just able to really get like a good line. You could probably do it thicker if you wanted to. I like it this, thickness. Okay, mascara. Marc Jacobs Velvet Noir. Love this mascara. I will be posting a full review on it with some other mascaras that I've been trying shortly. Okay, it's not the thickest mascara, but it does give a pretty decent lash. I really enjoy it because it does separate the lash and it's quite dark, and I've just really been enjoying the brush. The brush is really kind of spiky, and it's kind of an hourglass shaped brush, and I like the formula. So, I mean, it's not my favorite mascara of all time, but I definitely would recommend getting it or trying it. Okay, let's get to the cheeks with this by Terry Sun Designer palette. So like I said, I got the light and tan vibes. And so for that, I prefer with this palette, I would recommend wearing a matte foundation with it because this is more shimmery, I find, than the Tom Ford. Okay, so how we're going to do this is I'm going to use kind of these two medium brown tones over here. It's like a brown tone and like a brick dull rose. And I'm going to use that a little bit as a contour, kind of with a slight angled brush. And so like I said, I definitely need a more matte foundation with this because it is very, very, very glowy and shimmery. It is also, it kicks up a lot of powder, so just know that. The Tom Ford does not kick up as much powder. It has some, a little bit, but not too much. And this I can be a little bit more heavy-handed with, which is nice, than the Tom Ford, which is like heavily, heavily pigmented, though I would imagine that this palette in the more intense version, it was like had other colors where they were much more pigmented and brighter. Probably I would need a much lighter hand with that. Okay, so that's the kind of bronzy effect that I've created. And then I'm going to take the pink shade in here. I'm going to try to just get to that color because the other ones around it are really shimmery. But, I'm probably not going to be able to get just to that color, but we'll try. I'm going to use my little NARS Yakio. Is that what it's called? Yakio brush. And because it's so kind of dome shaped and I can just kind of get it in there. But you can swirl. You can do the swirl. Swirl it all together if you want to. That's what I have been doing. But I made the mistake, when I first bought this palette of like using all the colors in it at once. Like I had to find a way to use all the colors. And then it just was like way too much. So then I just tried to like simmer down and just kind of use the colors that, maybe just the dark tan one and the pink one, or maybe the other colors as a highlight with other cheek colors, because it is, like I said, so shimmery. I don't know if you can see that shimmer that's going on, but it's a lot. And so just kind of buffing it out. I don't know if I'm going to add, I don't think, well, maybe. I'll add a little bit of this like really shimmery peach right here. That's pretty shimmery. Because the blush itself is really, really shimmery. If you have dry skin, I would say this probably is like your jam because it probably would give you the most gorgeous, like radiant, fresh glow. But with oily skin, I would just make sure you wear a matte foundation underneath because you'll need it. I'm going to take a little bit more of that Bobbi Brown powder and just... It is slightly illuminating. So, all right, for the lips, I'm going to use the Burberry. This is the Full Kisses in English Rose. I bought 4 of these and I swatched them all in my vlog. I really enjoyed this one. The other nude one I got, Rosewood or Rose Hip or something, you'll see it on the vlog, was a little too dark and plummy for me. I mean, I would wear it, but this is like a really pretty pink. And then I'm just going to throw the fresh sugar honey on top, just to kind of add a little bit of, brown to it, just to kind of take away some of that pink. I don't mind a pink lip, but I don't like a super pink lip. Okay, so here we are, completed look, all finished. The eye, like I said, definitely has some definition in the crease and a really matte kind of, light lid with the liquid liner. We used the By Terry Sun Designer palette on the cheeks, and then the new Burberry Full Kisses on the lips. Oh, and that Dior Forever foundation, which gets major 2 thumbs up for me, and I'm absolutely loving. Super long wearing, love the finish, and I'm all finished with the tutorial. So I will talk to you guys soon. Take care. Bye-bye.